Hello, everybody. It is 523 week number 5. This is the week we shift away from looking at critically creating and consuming different media to actively designing media with AI. And this, at some point in kind of the first couple of paragraphs of the week 5, I love that it's like in speculative use, which means some of this is going to be amazing. You'll be way, way ahead. Other parts will be like, yeah, that didn't really pan out. It made me smile when I was teaching a course in like 2008, EDT 515. It was like new media, evolving technologies, something. So every quarter it was a new course that I was designing, and Google Wave had just come out. It was basically like a weird version of like what Slack might be. So yeah, I remember one of my groups, similar program as to what you're doing now. They did their whole presentation typing in Google Wave. They're just typing, and we just had a TV. Was it a projector? I don't even know if it was a TV yet. Like in the classroom, and they're typing, and we could just like see what they're typing. And anyway, it was like, all right, well, Google Wave did not pan out, but the idea of like collaborating asynchronously in a particular space, there was something there for sure, and that's what actually that project was. So I wonder, kind of, if we fast forward even a year from now, what we talk about in the next couple weeks, which of those are going to be like, oh my gosh, yes, like I am leading the charge on this, or you're like, but really? So there might be a couple of those. We don't know. But the goal of the next 4 weeks, the second half of this, is really to design with AI. And so the focus this week is really around predictive AI. And so what it means in terms of this course is tools that will analyze data so that you can either forecast or support decisions that you're making around a particular student, around a lot of data, and where you're kind of going with teaching or reteaching, moving faster or slower in your instructional plans. Other examples might be like early warnings that you might not catch, but the way you're kind of feeding the data in, it might give you that. Ways you can adapt individual pacing, and even just like kind of a teacher dashboard might be a way to do it. You're going to get a link and read about in some writing as a 4-page article around different predictive tools. One of them is Teachable Machine. It's from with Google. So the idea of this is that you can feed in data and build your own predictive tools. It can start off really silly, or it could end up being actually a really useful thing. So I'm going to leave that up to you with kind of how you want to play with that. But looking at Teachable Machine is one of those where you're like, oh, got it. Okay, that's where we're going for the next 4 weeks. Definitely want to make sure you're keeping in mind an ethical lens when we look at bias and transparency, because if we take just a step back, we know that a lot of the data that was fed into all these generative AI tools was biased, which means a lot of the data that we're going to get from them and a lot of the text we're going to get from them can also be biased. So in a similar way that Google search has been kind of notorious for giving back biased results, generative AI and also predictive AI is going to also do that. So keep that in mind, and then also just know and trust and kind of ground yourself in the fact that teacher agency still matters, but also teacher agency is more important than ever, because you're going to be the one using or not using these tools. You're going to be the one guiding or not guiding these tools. All that matters. And to that end, that's what the discussion board prompt is, looking at what classroom routines could be predictive tool support. So that's what's going on this week. I'm wearing my Neemly conference shirt. Did any of you go? It was fantastic. It was really interesting helping run that conference while teaching this course, because our first keynote was Christoph Geisler, who founded the 1 Minute Academy, and he's worked with. Did you already think about where I'm going with this? 1 Minute Academy? He's ended up working with like 80 different, what are they called? I want to say agencies. They're not. What is the word? We're going to figure this out together. where embassies, there we go, 80 different US embassies around the world about how to better communicate visually, and was really just trying to build capacity with making content for these people so that when they communicate and share their important messages, they're able to do so more effectively. And over a few years, he really honed it down to 1 minute. And so all the tutorials he makes for them are 1 minute. All of the projects they need to make are exactly 1 minute. Just it's fantastic. Did you figure out what it was? Good for you. So that was incredible. We had a panel around a lot of the themes of actually what this course is about and looking at the digital divide. Ken Shelton refers to it as a digital chasm now with generative AI, with students who do and don't have access to hardware, reliable Wi-Fi, and now generative AI. So an amazing panel with that. DeAndre Weaver was in that. Who else was in there? A handful of other people. Blanking on all their names. I can picture all their faces. Someone from AI and EDU. It just really great panel talking about that. We had a student panel talking about becoming authors and finding kind of their own voice. That was fantastic. Just so many good conversations. So if this sounds amazing, two things. You can actually sign up for the conference now and watch all the videos through October. You can reach out to me and I can probably get you a coupon code perhaps if you're interested. Or like the student version was like $20 or $40, which for conferences is as cheap as you're ever going to get. Or look out for Namely's Media Literacy Week coming up in October, which is going to be sooner than you would think. But just a reminder that a lot of folks are having these conversations, and it's been really interesting. So much of my professional conferencing has been with CUE, the California EdTech organization, and then ISTE, which is the International EdTech organization, going to and presenting at and participating in many various ways with them. And more of my CUE friends are showing up in the Namely space around media literacy education, because when you're doing media literacy education right, you're also doing so many of these ed tech pieces right, but then you're also bringing in that, what we just finished with part one, right? That like critical eye for you and your students around the media that we are consuming, and then also with the media that we are creating. So yeah, that's what the conference is about. If you went, I hope you had a great time. If not, then hopefully you learned a little bit, and look forward to jumping into part 2 for the next 4 weeks in our course. It's going to be good. Reach out with questions, and happy week 5.